The Ship of Fools. Episode 81. The Family Plan. The Yellow Shadow quest drifted through the unfamiliar stars of the new timeline, its golden hull glowing like a misplaced sun. The crew was still adjusting to the reality of being stranded. The wormhole gone, the constellations wrong, the universe subtly off. Aurora broke the silence. "Commander, I'm detecting a vessel approaching at high velocity." Moxie straightened. "Hostile?" Aurora paused. "No. Curious." A ship emerged from the nebula, sleek, silver, elegant. Its hull shimmered with a faint blue glow, and across the side, in bold lettering, "Shadow Quest." Snipes whispered, "Oh no, there's this timeline's us." Banning whispered back, "Let's hope they're friendly." The two ships drifted closer, nose to nose, like mirror images meeting for the first time. A docking bridge extended. The airlock hissed open. Standing there was Captain Chris Banning, older by a few years, broader in the shoulders, with streaks of silver at his temples, and a calm confidence that came from surviving more than his share of storms. Beside him stood Moxie Banning, unmistakably pregnant, one hand resting on her belly, the other gripping a datapad like a weapon. Her eyes were sharp, warm, and full of a life the yellow ship Moxie had never imagined for herself. Behind them stood Snipes, but not their Snipes. This one wore a proper engineering uniform, hair tied back, posture straight, expression proud. And beside him, a small boy peeked out. 8 years old. Bright eyes, grease-stained hands, a tiny tool belt. Mikey Banning. He waved. "Hi! Are you the other Uncle Snipes?" Snipes blinked. "There's more than one of me?" Mikey nodded. "Yeah, but you're the yellow one. That's so cool." Snipes whispered to Banning, "I love him." The crews gathered in the other ship's mess hall, a warm, lived-in space full of children's drawings, half-finished science projects, and a faint smell of cookies. Moxie Banning introduced the rest of the family. Sandy Banning, age 10, sharp-eyed, curious, already showing command instincts. Billy Banning, age 6, energetic, fearless, and constantly climbing on things he shouldn't. Mikey, age 8. The engineering prodigy who had already rebuilt half the ship's systems. Aurora, their Aurora, flickered into view wearing a holographic apron. "Welcome, visitors. Would you like snacks, lessons, a nap?" Snipes whispered, "She's like Nanny Aurora." Aurora, yellow ship Aurora, whispered back, "I could do that." The two Moxies stood facing each other in a quiet corridor. Pregnant Moxie smiled softly. "You look like I did before I knew what I wanted." Yellow ship Moxie swallowed. "And what was that?" "A family. A future. Something more than running from crisis to crisis." Yellow ship Moxie looked at her belly. "Does it scare you?" "Every day," pregnant Moxie said. "But it's worth it." Yellow ship Moxie didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her eyes said everything. In engineering, Mikey explained wormhole physics using crayons and a holographic projector. Snipes stared, slack-jawed. "You're telling me," Snipes said slowly, "that an 8-year-old figured out wormhole detection?" Other Snipes grinned. "He's a genius. I just keep him from blowing himself up." Mikey added proudly, "Uncle Snipes says I'm the smartest person on the ship." Snipes whispered, "I'm being replaced by a child." The two Auroras met in the nursery. Children climbed on one Aurora while the other observed with fascination. "You run the school?" Yellow ship Aurora asked. "And the daycare," Nanny Aurora replied, "and the tutoring program, and the bedtime stories." Yellow ship Aurora's lights brightened. "That sounds fulfilling." "It is," Nanny Aurora said. "Purpose is the greatest upgrade." Yellow ship Aurora processed that for a long moment. Captain Banning gathered both crews in the command center. A star map flickered to life, 3 timelines highlighted. "Our timeline," he said, pointing to the center. "Yours," he said, pointing to the left. "And this one," he said, pointing to the right. A region marked in red. "The colonist timeline," he explained. "Thousands of settlers, no defenses, constant attacks. They need help." Moxie asked, "Why not go yourself?" "We do," Captain Banning said, "but we're stretched thin. We can't protect 2 timelines alone." Mikey added, "But with 2 shadow quests, we can." Snipes whispered, "He's so hopeful. I love him." The yellow ship crew gathered privately. Moxie stared at the star map, torn between longing and fear. Banning watched the Banning family through the window, a life he never thought he'd see. Snipes held a crayon drawing Mikey had given him. Uncle Snipes #2, best engineer. Aurora replayed Nanny Aurora's words. "Purpose is the greatest upgrade." Banning finally spoke. "We can go home, or we can go where we're needed." Moxie whispered, "What if this is our chance to become something more?" Snipes nodded. "What if we can help build something instead of just surviving it?" Aurora added, "The colonists require protection. We can provide it." Banning looked at his crew, his family in their own way. "Let's vote. 1 by 1, Moxie. We go. Snipes. We go. Aurora. We go. Banning. Then we go." The decision was unanimous. They returned to the other shadow quest. Captain Banning smiled knowingly. "I hoped you'd choose that." Pregnant Moxie hugged her counterpart. "Take care of each other." Mikey hugged Snipes' leg. "Come back and visit." Snipes sniffled. "I will, buddy." Aurora exchanged a silent, meaningful nod with her counterpart, a promise of purpose. The yellow shadow quest sat waiting, its bright hull glowing like a beacon of hope. Captain Banning's voice came over comms. "Good luck out there. The colonists need heroes." Banning replied, "We're not heroes, just fools doing our best." The 2 shadow quests drifted apart, one toward home, one toward the unknown. Moxie whispered, "A family. Maybe someday." Snipes whispered, "A genius kid. Maybe never." Aurora whispered, "Purpose, definitely." The yellow shadow quest was nearly ready to depart. The docking clamps disengaged with a soft metallic sigh, and the 2 Auroras exchanged a final data handshake that looked almost like a hug made of light. Banning and Moxie stood near the airlock saying their last goodbyes to their counterparts. Snipes lingered behind them, staring at the other ship with a strange mixture of awe and longing, the kind of look he usually reserved for new engine parts or forbidden snacks. A small voice called out, "Wait!" Mikey Banning sprinted down the corridor of his shadow quest, tool belt bouncing against his hip, hair sticking up in every direction. He skidded to a stop in front of Snipes, breathing hard. "I almost forgot," he said, rummaging through his pockets. "I made you something." Snipes blinked. "For me?" Mikey nodded vigorously. "Yeah, you're the other Uncle Snipes. You need this." He pulled out a small metal cube, no bigger than a fist, covered in glowing etchings and tiny vents. It hummed softly like it was thinking. Snipes took it carefully. What is it?" Mikey grinned. "A wormhole stabilizer. A mini one. I built it myself." Snipes stared at the device, then at the boy. "You built a wormhole stabilizer? Out of scrap metal and crayons?" Mikey shrugged. "Mostly scrap metal." Other Snipes stepped forward, pride shining in his eyes. "He's been working on that for weeks. It's not strong enough to open a wormhole, but it can keep one from collapsing too fast. Might buy you a few extra minutes if you ever need them." Snipes swallowed hard. "Kid, this is the nicest thing anyone's ever given me." Mikey beamed. I know. Snipes knelt, awkwardly, because Snipes was not built for kneeling, and pulled the boy into a hug. Mikey hugged him back with the fierce, fearless affection only children possess. Come visit us, Mikey said into his shoulder. When you can. Snipes nodded. I will. And hey, keep being smarter than me, okay? Mikey laughed. That's easy. Behind them, yellow ship Moxie watched the exchange with a soft, aching expression. Pregnant Moxie stood beside her, hand resting on her belly, understanding without a word. Aurora recorded the moment. Not because she needed to, but because she wanted to. Captain Banning stepped forward. Safe travels, friends. Yellow ship Banning nodded. We'll make you proud. The crews exchanged final waves as the docking bridge retracted. Epilogue. A new future. The Yellow Shadow quest drifted free, engines warming, hull glowing like a beacon of possibility. Inside the cockpit, Snipes placed Mikey's stabilizer cube on the console. It pulsed gently, as if alive. Moxie whispered, That kid? He's something else. Snipes nodded. Yeah, he really is. Aurora added, Purpose comes in many forms. Perhaps this is ours. Banning set a course for the colonist timeline. The Yellow Shadow quest jumped to hyperspace, carrying a gift from a child, a promise of return, and the first spark of a future none of them had dared to imagine. End of episode 81. The missions of the Shadow Quest, the Ship of Fools, will continue.